Okay, story time. Been stewing on this person. Abby, stop, Abby. On this, what this person has said for a couple of days now, and it still makes me so mad because I absolutely hate two-faced people. I can't stand people being one way with one person and then being another way with somebody else. Like, for example, this person that I'm thinking of. Will you stop? I know you think it's funny, but stop. Anyways, my daughter's over here jumping on the bed when she shouldn't be. Stop it. Sit down. Or go in your own bed. Go to bed then. Thank you. But anyways, this person that I'm frustrated at happens to work with my grandmother. And my grandmother tried to set us up on a blind date. Within 30 minutes of meeting this guy, I could tell he was majorly not my type. Somebody I would like to hang out with, yeah, and also be friends with, but not a relationship whatsoever. And kind of got that hint. So apparently over the past 2 weeks, well, actually it's been a couple months, he and I have only hung out twice, both times without my daughter. And any other time I try to hang out with him, he's like, oh, I'm doing something else, oh, I got this to do, oh, blah blah blah, always something. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I think last Thursday, I guess my grandmother was talking with a coworker, and then he just pops up about how people will jump in. My grandmother and her coworker were talking about how people jump into relationships too quickly and blah blah blah. And he decided to pop up, oh, your granddaughter's the same way, and talking about how I tried to push my daughter on him and this and that. I'm like, okay, that is so not what he was saying to me. If he ever felt that way, he never said anything to me. Not once did he say anything to me. I have the messages to prove it on Facebook Messenger. He even says, I even told him, I was like, you're gonna love this one. You guys are gonna love this. So back in March 23rd, I said, oh, you doing anything tomorrow? I don't work till Friday. Oh, I have some stuff to do. But I should have time to hang out if I don't sleep too much. I was like, cool, hit me up when you can. And then he goes, okay. So that was like the 23rd. Then a month later, April 20th at like 7 o'clock, I message him, want to go eat Korean food? You can make my daughter this time. He responds at 7:30, like almost 20 minutes later. Oh, I would have loved to, but I'm out at sushi with my friends. Want to go see if you want. I was going to see if we wanted to hang out this week, but I've been sick and spaced out. Maybe hookah lounge tomorrow night. So at that, like I said, this was before I got my schedule. And I go, sure, want to go out to go eat Korean food beforehand. And then he goes, I'm going to be at the track in Hemet until 10. So I messaged him the next day at 3 in the afternoon, because I didn't know what time he was going to head over there, thinking I still had assuming I still had time to catch him before he went. So I message him on the 21st, the very next day. I say at 3:44. I say I won't have a babysitter for my daughter for us to go to the hookah lounge. He goes, oh, so if you want to do something else, then she can come along if you don't mind. She likes cars. And he responds 2 hours after that. 2 hours at 6:19. Says, I'm already at the track though. If you would have told me earlier, I could have. I just asked him, I was like, if you don't mind, specifically right there, if you don't mind, I would like to bring my daughter along. Obviously, by the following sentence after that, it seemed like he really didn't care. I said, I didn't know what time you planned on going. He says, sorry, I guess I forgot to tell you. I said, yeah, well, what would you want to do after? She doesn't fall asleep that easy, usually up till 10, which is the truth. My daughter does not fall asleep very easy. And even when she wakes up very early, she wakes up at like 8 in the morning and doesn't sleep till 11 o'clock. Sometimes earlier, usually depends on how active she is that day. So then he goes, I don't know, I thought you can't hang out after. I said I can't go. I respond, I can't go to the hookah lounge, but we can do something else. He goes, oh, gotcha. So, and then today, after all this, doing all this being on my mind for days, me being pissed off that I am being treated like this, and I really don't like it. I messaged him up and I was like, so you thought I wanted a relationship. I got the hint you weren't looking for one after the last time, so I wanted to be friends with you. Being friends with me includes hanging out with my daughter. If that is such a problem, tell me. If you don't want to be friends, tell me. If something makes you uncomfortable, tell me. If you don't like the way I go about things, speak up. Don't act like it's okay when it's not. I especially don't like when I feel I'm being two-faced. Just like letting you know how I feel. Because I'm open and brutally honest like that. About everything. And that's how I always am. That's how I've always been. I've been completely brutally honest with all of my friends. Anybody who's known me for the last 5+ years, even people who've known me since middle school, know I have no filter. I will do whatever I want to do. As long as it doesn't pose any risk to anybody, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, piss any people. Usually I try to avoid pissing people off, but quite frankly now at this age, I really don't care anymore. And for a guy to be that catty, I normally don't use catty to describe a guy, but it just seems that way to me because it seems like, I don't know, like if you don't like me, tell me. Otherwise, I'm not otherwise I'm not really gonna get it unless somebody's being like super, super, super standoffish. Then yeah, I get it. But he wasn't like that. Like I would suggest something and he would go with it. Like on our second date, I was like, why don't we just go watch a movie and then just cuddle? And that's what we did. He had no objection to it. Two days later, I find out that made him uncomfortable through his friends. Because I was like, wow, because I messaged up one of his friend's girlfriend, who I met on the first date. And she was like, oh, well, he felt uncomfortable about this and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you didn't say he felt uncomfortable about it. He didn't tell me. Like, I'm not a mind reader. And when you're the kind of person that just doesn't say anything and expects people to just understand you, especially new people who have never been around you for a long time, like, those are some way out there expectations. You can't expect anybody to know how you're feeling. You can't expect anybody to just automatically get the hint that you're uncomfortable, that you don't want to do this or you don't want to do that. Like, I'm just an all-around affectionate person, and that's just how I am, and I guess that made him uncomfortable. But, like, he didn't tell me. He didn't say that, oh, I don't want to do that. He was just like, oh, okay. And then we went to his house, watched a movie. Okay, if you were that uncomfortable about it, you could have just taken me home, dropped me off at home, say, I don't feel comfortable with doing that. I would have been okay. I would have been like, okay, then let's do something else. But no. He went with it. When you went with it, that gives me the assumption that you're okay with it. It's just, like, for me, I know this is an extreme analogy, but it's almost like when somebody pressures you into having sex and you still say into having sex and you still say yes to that person, you're still giving consent. Even though you're being pressured to do it, you still said yes. And then to turn around, and then afterwards, because you feel guilty and dirty and slimy about it, and then you try to turn around and say, oh, that person raped me. That's how I kind of associate this with it's like you say one thing and then try to turn the whole thing around and make it into a different story than what it really is. So, this is why I really don't know how my grandmother to play matchmaker, because she has no idea how people are outside of her work, and this person is obviously a two-faced donkey person. But it's just like, why? You have a mouth. God gave you a mouth. You were created with a mouth to speak. You were given a voice to speak with. And not many people have that. Not many people have the ability to speak. Not many of the people can speak. But when you do, and you have that voice, and you have that power, and you don't use it, I feel like smacking people in the face, because it's like, why? You have these thoughts, and you have these feelings, and you have a mouth to speak with them with. Like, why do you feel the need to, like, keep your feelings hidden? Like, you need talk. It's why we have a voice. It's the reason we have a voice. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe he was giving me like all these signs through his, like, the body language that I just wasn't catching or noticing. Like, I don't know. Like, for those of you viewing this, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about this whole situation that I found myself in.